taking the opportunity now, as we're all here, to say a few words with regard to Andy. Swag was very much something which interested him and amused him greatly. He always looked forward, if he wasn't here in person, he certainly looked forward to seeing our adventures down here on our regular swag gatherings. We're just going to spend a little bit of time, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, to give people the opportunity to say a few words. This is not a sad time. This is giving us the opportunity to celebrate Andy and his involvement in swag and Andy as a person. So I'm not going to prolong it. Tim, can you say a few words?
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I don't know if you can all hear. I'll do my best. Someone give Spams a hearing aid, please. He's having trouble already. I first met Andy in person quite early on in RMweb days. I was almost in at the very start. Within a few days of it being started up by Andy, I then joined, having been on the BRM one before. And the following year, having learned that Andy was in the habit of taking holidays in South Devon, I got in touch with him and said, well, would you like to meet up? He said, yes, of course. So we ended up meeting up in a local pub for a couple of drinks or more that evening. But before I knew what he looked like, I remember one afternoon on the South Devon Railway, because he said he was going to be there that day, looking at various chaps with their kids, wondering, oh, is that him? Is that him? Could it be that one? And there was one bloke with sunglasses on, and he didn't have any hair either, coincidentally. I damn near asked him, are you Andy York? But I didn't. So just as well, because it wasn't. A couple of days later, I met him at the pub, and what a wonderful, wonderful chap. And we just sat there and we talked trains really all evening, had a meal, I think. And it went on from there. RMweb, as Andy's creation, has become an enormous part in everyone's hobby lives. This wonderful model railway hobby that we're all in. Andy has changed, in my view, the face of it forever, for 100% for the good. And the next thing he did with the chaps in Derby was to arrange the Mick Clover RMweb Members Day. And I'm not Jeremy Simon remembers very well, the pair of us going up in the car, him taking his little gauge 1 layout, Pompile sidings. And I was struck that day by the wonderful relaxed atmosphere, like a club. Most of us never met each other before, but we all gelled instantly. There was refreshments, good food on hand, there's a pub just up the road. It was great, it was absolutely fab. And I thought to myself, on the way back in the car with Simon, he was driving, we were late back to his house. His wife gave him hell, by the way. I thought to myself, we must be able to do something like that in the southwest. And around that time, we'd sort of been forming these area groups. Andy was encouraging it, so we formed SWAG. Rob, I still have, as far as I know, the permissions to go into that, by the way. So I talked to Andy. What should we do? Should we do this? And he was very encouraging. Yes, of course. So I don't suppose Pugsley's here today, Martin McDermott. But it was Martin, who many of you will remember on the forum as Pugsley, found this place. He found Staple Grove because he lived in Taunton, or just he lived in Bishop's Indian at the time. And so we came and had a look at it. Good excuse to go and have a pint in the Croskeys afterwards. All very good. We settled on a date, the last Sunday in April 2008. And that was the first SWAG RMweb Open Day. And apart from COVID, he's been coming here every year since. By the time I got a taste of retirement from the railways in 2016, so I thought I'll retire from SWAG as well. It wasn't a decision I was totally at ease with, but Stubby, Stu took it over. Stu.
He's hiding.
He's nodded off again.
And then Rob's taken over from Stu after that. So it's been kept going. But it's all down thanks to Andy. And Andy would come to every single one of those early ones. And if it wasn't for his help in sorting out the insurance and all that side of thing, I doubt I could have done it anyway. So it's all thanks to Andy and everything that he's done on RMweb. And there's been some mention on the thread of the back scene on Black Country Blues. If you want to see an Andy York back scene, you can look at my lay at Bethesda, because he did that for me. I took the photos, but he did everything else. You know, of course I will. So bless him, Andy. I hope you're looking down from wherever you are, because we're all thinking of you, because you are really what I would call a BGB, a bloody good bloke. So, anyone else wants to say a few words, I'll hand over.
Yeah, lovely.
Good afternoon all. Yeah, afternoon all. Some of you may know me as Too Many Spams from RMweb. Boo, hiss, yeah. Any Panya lovers in here today? No.
It's not that sort of show.
It's not that sort of show, no. I've been trying to work out how long ago it was when I first met Andy York, and it was probably one of the very, very early shows where he was going round with his RMweb stand and a laptop, explaining to people how a forum would work and how we should all be joining it. And I looked at him a few times and thought, strange bloke, no hair, dodgy fashion sense. I'll give it a go. What's to lose? So I joined up, and it was probably 3-4 years after RMweb first started. It went through a number of incarnations and grew and grew and grew. And at some later point, I think it was about 2012, there was a competition run in BRM, and it was build a layout and we'll follow it and make it a part in the magazine. And that became Black Country Blues. It was we put forward an application from a group of people who were ex-Stafford Club members who've spread around the rest of the country since. We put a proposal forward, it was taken up, and suddenly we had to build a layout in 9 months, whilst writing articles for it every month and managing loads of threads on RMweb. Now, if you've got 9 months to build a layout, obviously what you do is you pick a small subject, something fairly easy to build with a limited number of people. We didn't do that. We decided it should be, a good 5.5 metres long, the scenic section, and a metre deep, and big fiddly R's each end, and have loads of structures in it: tunnels, viaduct, bridges, sidings. Everything was built from scratch. Huge amount of work went into that, a huge amount of organisation, and we had Andy beside us all the way. That layout would not have been what it became without him. He certainly pushed us all along really well. He did the back scene for it, which annoyingly got more comments than anything else we'd done. And we often joked we should just have done the back scene and taken that to shows, because that's what everyone asked about. It was a work of art. He was an absolutely brilliant chap. And I think, like many people, we all miss him dearly. Thank you.
Okay, the Egyptians had a thing. or at least they did when they were building pyramids. Essentially, when people can still remember who you are, then you haven't died, which is why they built the pyramids, basically. And losing Andy has put a big hole in my life and my colleagues' lives, because we really do miss him, and we're having to fill a load of gaps and try and be good to his memory. So we want to make sure that he is properly remembered, and basically, to put it in Andy terms, we mustn't bugger it all up. So I mean, I can honestly say that I wouldn't be doing the job I was doing without Andy, because I'm pretty certain when they were looking for new people for BRM, he suggested me, and he definitely suggested me to look after Garden Rail, and so those I have got to thank him for. I've got to thank him for many long phone calls, usually moaning about stuff, sometimes moaning about people on forums. And I don't want to break it to you, but sometimes he could be grumpy. And so basically, I mean, I am going through the stage of, we're certainly in Warner's, we're all going through the stage dealing with him, and losing him as a colleague, but I say also for many of us, losing him as a friend and somebody you can confide in. So, I'm really pleased to see so many people here today, because Andy would have wanted this. He would have wanted a room full of people enjoying high quality model railways. And if he could find one, he'll be all right. This is exactly what he would have wanted. This is where Andy would have wanted to be. He would have wanted to be chatting away and doing stuff there. Now, obviously, I should say that there are a few practical issues to deal with. I went to see Andy's wife, Wendy, last Friday, just to, because the frustrating thing is that the world doesn't stop. Deadlines still happen. There's still a forum with grumpy idiots on it sometimes, and they have to be looked after. And one of the things Wendy wanted me to do was to thank everybody for coming here. And also, she wanted me to take away all this crap that Andy had been sent for review, and please would I just take it away and clear some space in the shed, because the good news is the Black Country Blues team are going to be looking after the layout Andy had bought and a load of his stuff. However, I couldn't resist. I think Rob has done a terrific job on this, and this is from Andy York's stash, genuinely. This is for Rob. Rob, thank you for all the work you've done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That is, genuinely, I found that in a drawer, and I thought, yeah. So it's obviously extra holes, so when you're throwing some shapes, you'll be all right.
Thanks. What I'll do is, the only thing I can grow now is this.
Yeah.
So next time you see me, if it's sort of like that,
Yeah.
it'll be down to that.
It's Andy's fault, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Right. Look, we don't want this to be a solemn occasion. Andy would not have wanted us to be a solemn about this. He would have been very rude in ways that I can't say because we're videoing it. But what would be nice to finish off with? Could we have 3 cheers for Andy York? Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Thank you very much, everybody.
And as Andy would have wanted, on with the day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.